I've been writing professionally and full-time for years, but even recently I found myself making some pretty significant mistakes. And today I'd like to tell you a little bit about three of them, hopefully save you some time. Because honestly, I wasted hours on this lot. The first thing that I want to talk about is trying to get something for nothing. I'd heard about the website hosting service, Copyfolio, and you can get a free account. And I spent hours building a website for the business. Spent hours tweaking it, spent several minutes every week uploading new content to it when the next newsletter came out or whatever the thing was. And suddenly had a nasty shock. Got an email from them saying that they were going to start charging me, welcome to the premium plan, all this sort of stuff. Well, I hadn't agreed to sign up for anything. And all the research I could do at the time pointed to the fact that no, the free version is supposed to be forever. It's just very limited. But it proper caught me out. And I was trying also to point my main URL that I own to that website. And there were all sorts of problems with certificate issues and stuff. And I figured out in the end that people were actually getting put off from visiting the thing simply because it came up as unsecure. And that's not very professional, is it? And when I looked a little bit deeper at it, I realised that I wasn't getting any business through the website anyway. It was a lovely, pretty thing to stare at on my desk or on the TV or what have you, but it wasn't generating any business. So one thing I would say is that I'm going to repeat a ton of advice that I'd heard from other writers over years. You honestly do not need your own website. You don't. I know there's this whole thing about don't put your business in the hands of other platforms. They could fail, they could reject you, you can get banned and all these sorts of things. Or their user base can change, all this sort of stuff. But honestly, as a writer, you simply need a Google Drive or something where you can store a couple of portfolio documents and then an online presence. And that online presence does not have to be your own website. Who's going to find it anyway? So that's the first one. The second one was equally frustrating. And again, trying to get something for nothing, maybe. There's a bit of a theme here. Canva, the platform Canva, is widely praised. And I've managed to get it to do a few really nice things. I've sort of generated Instagram images and what have you. But I keep bumping into limitations. And one of the things that really wasted my time, I decided to create a new digital product, that I sell, sort of various PDFs and what have you. And I'd been doing this in Apple Pages, and it's a bit clumsy, a bit clunky for sort of dragging images around, and it's not really built for that sort of work. And I've been told, Canva's a far better option for that. I can't get it to do what I want. I think the main one was trying to put a lovely little button in with a hyperlink behind it. You just press this and it goes to the sales page or what have you. And I just could not get it to work. Whether it was Canva doc or whatever type of objects I tried to create on that platform, it just wasn't having it at all. And more recently, I tried to get it to create some thumbnails for the YouTube channel here. And honestly, kept bumping into horrible little frustrations where I just could not get it to do what I wanted it to do. And in the end, I popped onto Google Gemini and I said, help, am I missing something? What's going on with this? And it said, yeah, you probably don't want to bother with that. You're an Apple user, just use Keynote. I was like, oh, hello, okay. This is why I keep seeing Keynote open on in the dock of all the fellow writers that I watch. I either spend time with them in real life or I sort of watch them on YouTube or what have you. And I keep seeing Keynote down there and I think, why is that there? They're not making presentations today. What's going on? It's brilliant for creating things like thumbnails and stuff like that for YouTube. I highly recommend, if you've got access to Apple Keynote, do that. And I think if you're a Microsoft user, it's probably PowerPoint, I would imagine, would be just as good. The third one, honestly, the third one is not so much trying to get something for nothing. It was me feeling my way through this new world of online writing on the internet. Best piece of advice I've ever heard when it comes to starting is be where your audience is. If you want to write to people, you need to be where they're hanging out, so that you've got a ready-made sort of audience of viewers or readers or whatever the thing is. And I'd chosen Substack as my newsletter platform, and I still, that's where I produce my weekly newsletters all the time, both the We're Writing on the Internet one and the Dancing Stepdad as well. I love it. Substack's amazing, but I fell into a little bit of a trap. A whole ton of gurus saying, I'm going all in on Substack. This is where you need to be. Forget all these other social media platforms and what have you. It's great with the notes facility and what have you, which is a little bit like their version of tweets and all that sort of stuff. It's fantastic if that's where your audience is. But the thing is, I write to help new writers. The guys on Substack already are writers. That's why they're there. And it took me ages to figure out that the hobbyist writers, the people who want to write about their leisure and pastimes, about their lifestyle and what have you, they're not hanging around on Substack looking for advice. I mean, it's lovely that they subscribe to my newsletter. It's fantastic. But they don't then go and have a look around the site and all the rest of it and see who else is on there. They just don't. They just get the newsletter in their email every week and they move on. And instead, of course, all those cool people that are into these brilliant hobbies and want to write about them, they're on YouTube, they're on Instagram. That's where they're spending their time. Oh my goodness, I went from dozens of views per month on the actual Substack platform to hundreds of views a day, thousands here on sharing my time between YouTube and Instagram. And I just thought it was worth pointing these 3 time wasters out to you, because honestly, the pain and frustration that I went to and through, only to eventually realise that I'd been putting all my effort in the wrong direction on all 3 of those things. I don't wish that on anyone. If you're new to writing, if you're considering just starting out, do a little bit of research and make sure that where you're about to focus your effort is the right direction. You might not know at first. It takes a little bit of experimentation, but hopefully this can shortcut that process for you just a tiny bit. Don't waste your time trying to use tools for jobs they were not invented for. And on the subject of saving you a little bit of time, if you want to be a writer, if you want to start, begin writing on the internet, writing about your hobbies, your pastimes, writing about some lovely aspect of your life that you want to share with the world, then I can save you a little bit of time getting started. There's a link in the description for my free new writer bundle. It's got an absolute ton of information in to get you started, and you can go straight to it and start writing today. Cheers.